Music Online UK members Skype Hangout, 1st of May 2020. You're doing grade 6 then, are you, Risha?
Yeah,
And what pieces are you playing and how long have you been studying them?
actually, I haven't got the book yet because of the lockdown and everything. So I haven't started anything right now. So
Okay. So you passed your grade 5, did you?
yeah, I passed my
You got actually to do the exam before the lockdown cancelled everything.
grade. Right.
Yeah, because there was I think, Rachel, didn't you have your grade 5 cancelled, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a disappointment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, so what I thought maybe we could try a little bit today. I don't know if it's something that's be useful, but some grade 6 oral, since you're both doing grade 6.
Great.
What's your oral like, Rishabh?
I'm not good in the oral quiz, I guess.
Which is why it's a good plan to do it, yeah?
Right.
Now, one of the things that is common to almost every grade is the sort of like understanding the music and answering general questions. Yeah. And in grade 6, you have to listen out for things like the character of the piece, that's grade 4, and the start of the period, that's grade 5. And then possibly going on to, I think it's texture and structure they start adding, don't they? Are you with me? Yeah. The texture and the structure is the new thing that appears in grade 6 level. Okay, so I'm going to play you a little tiny extract. It's not a whole piece. And I want you to think about those 3 areas. I mean, they only ask you 2 areas normally in the exam, but the character of the piece, maybe the style and the period, and the texture and the structure of what I'm going to play. All right, just to warm us up a little bit. Okay, a short little extract. So who wants to tell me something about what they heard? Rachel, what period do you think that came from? What period of music?
Okay. Gut feeling is classical.
Why?
Because it had a fairly limited dynamic range, but there was a use of crescendo, diminuendo, and there was a polyphonic use. There was a melody with an accompaniment as well.
All right. Okay.
But don't shoot me if it's Baroque.
What do you think, Richard? What are you going?
Sir, I also think that it is from the classical period.
And what would your reasons be?
Because like no, I think maybe there's a possibility it could be from the Baroque period, but I'm not sure. But I'm just like saying because because there was no like pedal has been used and some like detached note like we like listen on some harpsichord or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, right. I just want to draw your attention to one thing that's mentioned in the marking criteria for oral tests. All right. Now, apart from being right or wrong, yeah, it's got like comments like accurate throughout, or the strengths outweigh the weaknesses, or on the other side, the weaknesses outweigh the strengths. But another thing that the examiner is looking for, and this is actually in the marking criteria, I'm reading off the sort of like mark sheet that the examiners have: confident response for full marks, secure response, coming down a little bit, cautious response, just about a pass, uncertain response, below pass. All right, so what I'm saying there is that, oh, I'm not really sure, I think it might be, and you're losing marks already by saying those words, even if you get the right answer. All right, so there's one little hint, a little tip for oral test exams. Don't show any insecurity. Even if in there, I haven't got a clue, you just pretend I know what the answer is. Yeah, there's a little hint there. So,
Right.
But we're amongst friends, so you can, that's just a little hint for the exams. So what would lean you towards more Baroque than classical then, Rishabh?
like I mean, like the runs. There are some like runs like in the bass clef when you are like going to the like further, and like bass was continued, and yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's
Well,
it.
actually, go on, go on.
It sounds like some Bach music, so that's why I said.
Yeah, it's quite simple in its structure. I think Baroque would be a little bit more elaborate. Baroque would probably have a little bit more ornamentation in it. And maybe, now I'm going to go back on a word that Rachel used, was polyphonic. What does polyphonic mean?
Oh, single-handed. I meant homophonic.
Yes, homophonic. Yeah, it's got a tune and an accompaniment, but if that tune and accompaniment works sort of like together at the same sort of rhythms, yeah, it's not one working against another, like two equal voices of different parts that are working interweaving against each other. That's polyphonic, yeah, but a tune and accompaniment is more homophonic. Okay, so we've established it's a classical period. Yeah, you happy with that? All right, now what about character? It's this weird question that people just, it's actually a really easy question, but people just get really confused by it. How would you describe the character of the music? Anybody?
For the like character, I would say that the piece is in the major key and like very happy, like joyful kind of piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the notes are very detached, like on the I have seen in the both hands.
Yeah, there's a little bit of staccato work going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit detached. Another thing that creates a happy, lively sort of character is the tempo. You mentioned the major key. All right, so speed and key are two very relevant factors when we're talking about the character of a piece, aren't they? And people just think, what's character? What do I say about character? But if you just remember two obvious possibilities, happy and sad, if you're really stuck, that's a good start. And then you can go into a few more nuanced answers like, oh, I don't know, bold or reflective or calm or these sort of things, you know? But anyway, okay, that's the character. Now, what about the texture? This is more the grade 6 area now. How would you describe the texture? Actually, no. How many sections? We'll go to the structure first. How many main sections were there? Do you want to hear it again? So how many main sections would you think you heard there?
4.
I can understand what you mean. Maybe 4 phrases. But
Yeah.
sections are more like more distinct. Yeah, so 2 sections there. Yeah. Now, how does the texture differ in the 2 sections? There's a different style of texture. Can you hear what the difference is?
Well, one section had a melody with an accompaniment, and the other one was a bit more detached.
They're both melodies and accompaniments, but the accompaniment changes in its style. So here's the accompaniment from the first one. And the accompaniment from the second one. So can you describe the difference in the texture between the 2 sections? And the accompaniment particularly, yeah.
Legato and staccato.
Okay, yeah, so we've got some legato chords. Yeah, more chordal in the first section. The second one is more like octave jumps and a staccato bass there. Yeah, so that's the structure of the piece. All right, now that's sort of like the easy warm-up. What about, what's your singing like? the smirk of embarrassment. Okay, let's see if you can just sing back a nice, short, little, simple phrase. Let's not make it too long or difficult. Right, I'm going to give you a key chord and a starting note. All right, and here is a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll play it again. Okay, who's feeling brave? Rishabh. I'll give you a starting.
Da da da.
Go on.
Da 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 da.
Okay, that was a good attempt. All right, Rachel, do you want to try? I'm going to play it one more time.
Yeah. La 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 la.
Okay, now after the first run going down, dee da 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 da, I want you to tell me whether it goes up or down after that note.
Down.
Up or down? Dee da 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 da. What was the next note? Up or down?
Up.
Up. Yeah. All right. Okay. Is anyone actually near their instrument?
I am.
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you. Now, this is another option, okay? Because it does say in the instructions to sing or play from memory. You actually don't have to sing here. You could actually play it back on your instrument. So if I told you the key was D minor, starting on an A, because some people find it easier to play than sing. So let's try. Okay, so in D minor, there's your first note, which is an A.
An A.
Yeah.
All right. Let's turn it up. I don't know the last bit.
Now, at the end, remember that in a minor key, we raise the seventh sometimes. You know that harmonic minor raised seventh?
Oh, yeah.
C sharp. So I'll play it to you one more time. Go down another step, down 5 steps.
1, 2, 3.
You're starting on the right note, that's fine. But when you start on the right note, go down to the 5th step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
All right.
Stay on the. All right, I'll play it again. See if we can work it out by listening.
I don't know.
All right, you're getting close. You're not working yet. Yeah, are you, Rishabh? Your keyboard's not working.
No, sir. Actually, there is no power right now.
Okay. All right. So you're on battery, are you, or your phone or something with the Skype?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Now, to be honest, sight singing would be quite hard over Skype, especially on a group, right? I'm not sure, but we'll leave that one. Let's just do a cadence question. All right. Now, do you know that the 2 options are perfect and imperfect cadences? Yeah. All right. So if I play you a little phrase, also in D minor. Okay. And tell me what the cadence is at the end of this phrase.
Imperfect.
All right, imperfect. And does anyone know what chords we use for that? Now, this isn't actually in part of the grade 6 questions, all right, but you do have to identify it in grade 7. And you have other cadences in grade 7, but you also have to say what the name of the chords are. But from in theory, you should know what chords make an imperfect cadence. Anyone got an idea?
Something like plagal or?
No, the chords are like 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Now, I'll play you the last 2 chords of the piece, or the extract. And here's your tonic. All right. So that's chord 1. Now, can you hear what degree of the scale the last note is on the bass? From down there. We've gone up. Bum, 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 bum. Which degree of the scale is that?
Yes.
Go on, Rishabh.
2.
Not 2. Right, I went up from D. Bum, 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 bum. That's the bass note. Dum.
Okay.
What degree of the scale am I on now?
The 5th.
5.
Yes, the 5th. That's right. And you should know from your grade 5 theory, because you have to have done grade 5 theory if you're doing grade 6 piano by now. All right. We had chord 5 makes an imperfect cadence, yeah, at the end. But the one before it. Now, this one in imperfect has a few options. You could have 1 to 5, 2 to 5, 4 to 5. There's a few options. Can you hear where the bass note comes from just before the 5 at the end? Is it like stepping up or jumping up? See if you can work out. Could you hear that bass line?
It's a 4th.
It's chord 4, you mean? Yeah? It's the 4th degree of the scale, the bass note. Yeah. So it's chord 4 to 5. And that's the chords. So you're on grade 7 standard now. What pieces have you chosen, Rishabh?
I haven't chosen yet, sir.
You haven't? I mean, have you listened to any of them?
Yeah, I have listened. I think the Prelude, I guess. I have sheet music for that piece. It's from it's a Chopin piece, I guess. Prelude in B minor, I guess.
The Prelude in B minor, yes. Rachel's playing that one at the moment, and you've learnt about the first 8 bars, haven't you? Are you feeling like having a little demonstration of the first 8 bars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rishabh wants to hear your first 8 bars, Rachel.
Oh, okay, right.
Of the Prelude, yeah? Okay, so what would you say the main difficulties in this piece are?
Who, me?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a prospective student that's going to think about studying this piece, what would you say?
6, 7, and 8 are the hard ones.
Oh, in terms of the bar numbers, yeah, because there are a lot more intricate chords. Yes. What about in general technique? What have you got to watch out for in the technique of this piece?
The voicing.
Yeah. So we have a marking there on the top part, don't we? Sotto voce. Well, what's the literal meaning of sotto voce? Can anyone tell me?
The under voice?
under the voice is the literal meaning, yeah. All right, so in effect, we play it, the voice is the left hand. So we play the right hand in a lesser volume to the left hand, isn't it? And you've got to bring out that tune. You see, and the right hand, you hardly notice it. And it's actually quite a tricky technique, you probably found yourself, haven't you? To actually keep that right hand really quiet and dig deep into the cantabile tune of the left hand. Yeah, so that's one of the challenges involved in that piece. There we go. Another thing, rubato. Being very free in time with this one. You don't want to be too metronomical. It can get a little bit too clockwork, and you just got to pull it around like chewing gum, stretch it out, and yeah, feel the passion of the piece. All right, which is tricky when you're learning the notes. I know you've got to feel confident with the notes first, and then some people, to build up a little bit of confidence, might use a metronome, but then you can get a bit mechanical. So with a piece like this, if you do use a metronome, get out of it as quick as you can, I would say, as soon as you've got some confidence. Yeah? Maybe next time you join us, Rishabh, you might have some power and you can give us a little demo or something of something you prepared.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay.
I have now, the power has come, but right now.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't want to sight read any of this, would you?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
That would be asking you. Do you want to play us a little bit of your grade 5? Have we got some of your grade 5 still there?
Yeah, I have grade 5 book there.
Oh, and how did you get on in your grade 5? What sort of mark did you get?
104.
104. Okay. What were your strengths and weaknesses in there?
Basically, sir, the scale part is my weakest part. So I'm improving on my skills, and also the oral is very weak.
All right. Now you say scales, and I think we were having a chat this morning, Rachel, weren't you? With you in your lesson. And is it a problem, Rishabh, just remembering, because in grade 5, the sheer volume, you've got all the majors and all the minors, and then in grade 6, you've got all the melodic minors as well. Is that the problem? Just remembering the whole set and what the key signatures are and the fingerings are for every single scale, because there's so many of them. So
yeah, whenever, if I'm trying with this individual hands, I'm able to play the scales, but whenever I'm trying to play with the both hands, I don't know what is happening with me, but I'm not able to make it correct. And
okay.
Sometimes there is a finger, like the finger position is not going good by playing scales.
So is it a fingering, not loading the fingering?
Yeah, fingering is you can say my weakest point in the scales.
Okay, because a lot of people, now I get this question from a lot of people. I'm teaching them a scale and they play it completely all the right notes, and I say, but that was the wrong fingering. It doesn't matter. I got the right notes, but it does matter. And my sort of theory on this is that if you don't have a correct fingering and have the same fingering every time, okay, there are sometimes alternative fingerings that work quite well. And if you used an alternative and you do the same alternative every single time, that's okay. But usually it's an excuse for having just a random fingering, whatever happens on the day. Yeah, and if you've got a random fingering, whatever happens on the day, you'll never get muscle memory. And that's when mistakes happen. So 50-50 chance, yeah, you could get it right with the wrong fingering, but you've got a 50 chance that you might get it wrong. Right, so even if you get the right notes, but the fingering was wrong, I would say you should work a bit harder and get the fingering accurate, yeah? And then the scale should start playing itself once the muscle memory has learned where it's going.
Okay, thanks, sir.
You have company, someone there. Oh yeah, it's your little one.
Oh,
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
That's no problem. That was just a hangout, isn't it? So, I can't really see your fingering pattern at the moment from the camera point of view. Do you want to try one of the scales for me, Rishabh?
Yeah, I could give it a try. I hope you can see.
Yeah. Okay. So let's try an A major. I can't see the whole of your keyboard, but maybe enough to,
Okay, you are not able to see the whole keyboard.
but maybe enough to get the fingering.
Okay. Okay.
If it were sort of slightly from the ends, looking along the keyboard a bit.
Is it?
Yeah, that could work. That could work. Don't fall down. We sort of upside down, but we'll work it out. Okay, so what do you make of that, Rachel? Did you notice anything?
I was just trying to listen to more of the flowing, but it looked pretty excellent to me.
Okay, do you want to do this a bit slower so Rachel can watch it there?
Okay.
Yeah?
Right.
Yeah, I think there was one accidental that went off, wasn't there? Yeah,
Right.
but pretty good. All right. That seems fine with the fingering as well. And it's very hard to see the fingering. For one thing, it's upside down.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised trying to work out what someone's playing when they're playing it upside down on a picture. It's like, what is that? Because it's completely in reverse.
Right.
But it seemed to work quite well. I could hear one note went out on the accidentals there. So, yeah,
that was really, really confident though. Your hands seem fine together.
But I don't know what happened in exams, so maybe because of the like the nervousness or.
Yeah, it can be nerves, can't it? And that's why.
Yeah, but as my piano teacher also says that my weakest point is my scales part. So
So, how much practice do you give your scales? Is it just a question of time?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't lie you, but I don't practice scales much. Maybe a couple of times. Yeah, that's
a couple of times a year.
A couple of times in a week, like a week, you can say.
In a week. Sorry, yeah. I thought I heard you say year.
How long would that be in total?
Okay, that would be like maybe 20 minutes in a week. The scale parts, that's it. Or maybe 10 minutes. It depends actually. It's not fixed, so I would say.
Okay. And how's your scale practice, Rachel, in terms of time and?
So I have I try and do well, this is more now with the lockdown, but generally I'll do at least 3 hours a day. So I'll do half an hour technical scales in the morning straight away. And then lunchtime I do my pieces. And then I do the sight reading in the evening, and then I do aural during late morning, afternoon, and then I keep chopping in and chopping out, working on pieces again. So predominantly pieces. I'd say only half an hour of the scales. But
on a daily basis, that's not bad, is it?
I do it's difficult to exactly monitor because I pop in and out, but I try and do core things, especially in the evening. So I'd say at least 3.5 to 4 hours a day, and weekends I'll try and do more if I can.
Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, I like into eating your vegetables, doing your scales. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard this analogy before, but most people, especially kids, if they got vegetables on their plate and then they got some nice juicy meat or a steak or whatever, I don't know, with Indian cuisine it might be a bit different, but you tend to leave your least favorite thing. Well, if your parents insist that you eat it, now you're a parent because I just saw you got a little one there, but if you say, right, you need to eat your vegetables, for example, kids don't like vegetables, so they'll eat it first to get it out of the way and have the nicest thing at the end. Yeah, I don't know, do you do the same? I mean, even adults we act like kids sometimes. So if we've got something on our plate and we think, well, that's good for me, I should eat it. We get it out of the way first. We just eat that. All right, I've done that. Now I can enjoy my lunch. Do you do the same?
Yeah, it happened with this also.
Okay, so we're all big kids, really, basically. All right, so scours your vegetables or whatever food it is that you find. You just get out the way so you can enjoy your lunch. So what are your least favorite food then, Rishabh?
Least favorite food is vegetable.
Which kind of vegetables do you absolutely hate, but you just eat them just because you have to?
Like I don't know what to say in English. I think it's you can say radish.
Oh, radish.
Like yeah.
Huh? Okay, but you eat them anyway, do you? And why do you eat them? Are they good for you? They're healthy.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Now you see where the analogy is going with the scales.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, it's good for you. You don't really like doing them, but they're good for you. So you just do them, get them out the way, and then you can enjoy the rest of your practice with the pieces that you prefer to play. That's just my little thought on it. It might help. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed that little hangout today. We're going to be doing this regularly on a Friday, so you know, feel free to join in if you're free. And it's been nice of you to share your ideas and expose your weaknesses for the world to see. It's very brave of you. All right, and we'll see you all next week. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right. Take care then. Bye. Bye. Bye.